All right, ladies and
Hey,
gentlemen, welcome back to Chicago Bears Daily.
we're back, baby. Let's
Live
go.
number 4.
Sheesh, dude. When was the last time we did it? Like a month ago? It
Dude,
feels like
I actually think it was a
damn,
month ago.
feels like a
Yeah,
long time.
it was a very long
It's a
time
long
ago.
time coming, but you know what? We're back and better than ever. Just like
We're
the Bears will
back.
be, baby, very
Yes,
soon.
sir.
Very
All right.
soon.
So while we wait for some bodies to come in here, and I always forget how well these people watch these afterwards. So I got to keep that in
Yeah,
mind.
that's the coolest thing. I like that so much.
Yeah,
Like
right. It's sick
it's
as
like
hell. But
when
I
I
want to
first did it, I was
preface. Oh, what?
well, I was gonna say when you first when we first did this and then you told me people watch after, I'm like, who's gonna watch this? And then like
Yeah,
people watch,
right.
I'm like, damn, that's actually sick. Like,
It's super cool.
all right,
Yeah.
let's see what we're looking at here.
But yeah, so this is just the preface here. Former NFL GM Scott Pioli said on the NFL Network that he believes Chicago Bears tight end Cole Kmet is going to have a breakout season. This guy has all the tools and is a complete tight end. He's one of the top young talents at his position in the league, and the reason being is we have this one right here. The Bears. Tight end Cole Kmet failed to reach the end zone in 2021. However, did rack up 600 plus yards, averaging 10.2 yards per reception. Do you believe Cole can prove the Dodgers wrong and be a legit tight end in the NFL?
You know what I'm going to start with here? Um, the I'm going to start right now. If he's going to have a breakout year, he needs to get his fumbling issue under control. There's a few games last year, and like in really, really critical situations. Now, I'm pretty sure it happened twice. Now he fumbled it, but he recovered it. So the
Hmm.
ball bounced his way. But like, if he's fumbling it in a critical situation, and we're trying to like build like something here. That's to have a breakout season. You need to have that ball security, and everyone's gonna fumble. Like it's gonna happen. But like for me, that's like something that he needs to work on. He needs to work on his ball security. Like ball security is job security. So that's to me phase one for him, like personal, because the for him to have yards and touchdowns, the offense needs to be working as like a whole. So for him to have a breakout season, it's not really up to him entirely. Like he needs to get targeted. He needs to put in dirty work. He needs to be a blocker because for some reason when you like don't have the ball in your hands and then you do that well, like you're a good blocker, all of a sudden it feels like things are like freed up for you when you get the ball. Um, but if the offense is functional and we're moving the ball, then he'll find opportunity. But for him personally to have a breakout season, I think it starts with holding on to the football after the catch and not fumbling and critical. What do you think?
I like to. That made me remember. What is it now? 3 years ago, or 2 years? I can't remember. Where Notre Dame playing Clemson in the college football playoff, and I don't remember everything about that game, but I remember Cole fumbled.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
I can't remember. I think it was a kick return, right? It was a kick return, and
I didn't watch the
he
game, but
fumbled it.
it doesn't surprise me. Like, and I'm
Mhm.
sure I'm sure if you can remember exactly, if you can exactly, Lou, if you can remember like the exact play when he fumbled, like it seems to be in big moments. Like sometimes like when you fumble, and it's like it's kind of like in the middle of the second or something, and it's kind of like nothing's really been happening. I mean, it's never a good time to fumble, but it seems like the times that I can remember, it's like at the very almost end of the game, we're like making a drive downfield, and we're feeling confidence. The offense is like moving and like to end the game, like to help get there, and then all of a sudden we have to step back. A fumble, even if he recovers it, you have to step back and say like, "Oh shit!" Like because that's like a scare. You kind of have to like take a step back and reel your offense back. So even if you don't lose it, seeing a loose ball, I mean injuries like dog piles happen, injuries can happen, and then
Mhm.
your offense, it's kind of like you kind of get like it's a punch in the gut a little bit. So that's to me, that's his step one is just holding on to that football. But
Yeah.
he's I will say he's what I've noticed, he's good at like finding a weak spot in the zone and just like sitting in it. Like there was, I think against the Steelers last year, um, I think it was a tight end seam. He was like right in the middle of the field. He took a really hard like back shot. I think the guy like drilled him in the back, but he like sat and Fields found him down the field. It was like a 20-yard gain. And so I think he's a good route. I mean, the data kind of is still a little limited for our offense and it's going to change, but I think he's a good like route runner getting open. It's just holding on to the football and he can make catches too. So I think if he holds on to the ball, that's going to be key for his breakout year.
Yeah. I like what you said about like the kind of offense clicking. I mean, he can't have a breakout year of the offense.
Exactly.
Scoring touchdowns or getting the ball down the field.
Yeah, exactly. And tight ends, I mean, unless you're like a proven tight end like Kittle or Kelsey or even Darren Waller now, it's like you're not going to be a first option, especially to a young quarterback. Like tight ends are a little different from receivers because like they're blockers and then they find like short spots in zone, like or they find like open spots in zones. So receivers, I mean, you're going to be hitting them on the run like downfield. They're a little easier to track. I feel like tight ends, if you can develop a scheme to like hide a tight end and then like get on the ball in open field, like Kittle does that so well.
Yeah.
Kittle's like invisible, and then he catches the ball and he doesn't go down. He's a wrecking ball. So if Kittle, do you know if Cole Kmet's going to tight end U? I haven't seen him at all.
It's a good question.
I don't know. I know he was there last year, and if he can learn, like I love tight end U. Like Kittle and Kelsey are like the two coolest tight ends like to be hosting that. So if he's going to there and like learning something, that would be cool too. But
yeah,
you need the offense to click for a tight end.
Yeah. So before we get into Ray's comment here, I think the issue with maybe last season, although that like statistically, I think that's a fine year from Cole Kmet. I know he was drafted early, but I think that he does a lot of stuff like blocking, like you were mentioning, that you can't really statistically count.
Right.
I think the issue with him with last year and all the receivers in general, Don Burr, welcome back, Mr. Lion fan, is that you don't have any freaking time to like throw. So
in comes the offensive line.
Tough.
It's so funny.
So yeah, it sets this up right here.
It's so funny because like every time you bring up one issue with the Bears, like something else ties into it. So it's like it makes our situation so tough because like you really want to narrow into something, and this is where polls like has such a challenging come in here. You really want to narrow into something like quarterback play or wide receiver play, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, wait. How good can a quarterback be without an offensive line? How good can a wide receiver be without a quarterback? How good can a quarterback be without a receiver and a running back, a run game? So it all turns into like a whole, like you unravel the knot and all of a sudden it's like we're hanging by a thread. Let's see. Will the offensive line hold up? It'll be better than last year, I think. Let's see.
Who I'm really excited about?
Who?
And he's been getting a lot of praise. He went to my former college, Braxton Jones.
Braxton Jones seems sick.
University.
He's the guy. He's the one that turned from a receiver. Wasn't he a receiver into an offensive lineman?
I think so. Yeah.
I've never seen that ever. Has he been getting a lot of praise? I haven't really.
Apparently they're loving him.
He's a tackle, right? He's going to be a tackle. I can't remember.
Offensive tackle.
Yeah. I think for a lineman, I mean, if he has the weight, like, and he has like a wingspan, I think when we drafted him, like that was what they were focused. Like, I remember they were focusing on his wingspan and his like athleticism. If he's like if he's an athletic like freak and an offensive tackle, like. That's pretty good. If he can like move his feet well, like the long wingspan. Now, it worries me that could draw like holding penalties, if he like gets hooked under there. But I don't know. I think I'm excited too. And then what's this? Who's the center from the Packers? Lucas Patrick, right? Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really, I'm high on him.
He's good.
Too.
He's good.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited because he seems like. And he started too for like the last couple of years for the Packers. So like to go from like a system that has had their offense working for a while, and to like And hopefully the hope here, I mean, he has experience with Getsy too. So
True.
the hope is to like they have a little bit of an already established connection and then bring that over here. And then the two of them can help like Fields kind of be like, all right, in an NFL game, like we'll get the hard count situated. I think Fields will be a good hard count guy. I really do. He had a few of them last year. I remember he had a couple of them where he could hard against the Packers. It wasn't called. The guy jumped over the line and he threw a pick because he thought he had a free play. I'm not going to get it. Stupid bullshit. It's fucking frustrating. But if he can like instill that and he can kind of get the other guys on the line to like hold, then I think the line, I mean, last year was pretty bad. So I think it's going to be better. And we got rid of penalty machine guy. What was his name at the left tackle? Jason Peters. He was God, man. Every play was like false start or holding. It's like you can't go anywhere if you're getting penalized on every single play. So he's out. I mean, he's a good like veteran, but he's obviously way past his prime.
Yeah,
like he's can't do anything.
I think that Lucas Patrick is. I think he's perfect for what they're looking for right now. I think Lucas Patrick is, and quick flex, he follows my golf account, so I sent him a DM immediately when he announced
Pretty
it.
sick.
And he's just like I don't know, he's like a man's man. Like he's just somebody you want on your offensive line. He's just somebody like he's somebody you just want to have a beer with in general, and that you don't even know he's a football player. He's got that like Midwest discipline, if that makes sense. He's got that grit, that hard work. Exactly. So I think he's going to be a perfect leader for this young squad. And then, I mean, I think, what was it? Ray's talked about right tackle. I think Braxton, I don't know 100% what they're going to do, but he played both positions in college, left and right tackle. I think he'll probably be left tackle. And then Eric, you were mentioning his footwork. That's what's getting a lot of praise from him is his amazing quickness and his good footwork. And so he's already a really good run blocker. And so that's why they're really hoping that he is going to turn into a good pass blocker relatively soon. And so it's hard even in general to pick up an offensive lineman and have him, I mean, even if it's round one, to even just have him go right out the get-go. Like just start right away.
Yep.
I think the 5th round Braxton Jones, like that's
what I'm saying. People were like dogging on our picks, like they were like, oh, we didn't get any like super stud receivers, or we didn't get any super stud like defensive guys. But like the value that we got at the picks that we got were like, in my opinion, like gems and steals like all around. To me, I mean, you got to see how they play. And we'll see it on the first preseason game a little bit, but like we didn't have a single first round pick. We had 1 second, 1 third. So we'll see. What are we looking here?
First off, I can't just freaking wait for preseason football in general. I'm amped up right now. I'm watching football. I'm watching some random. Throw on a freaking Eagles-Vikings game. 2 teams I don't give a shit about. Throw that on. I'll throw that on at nighttime, and it's like
you throw on the NFL channel. I throw that shit on and just watch football. Like,
unfortunately, I don't have NFL channel.
Oh, that's tough. That's
loser.
Tough. They just play games, dude. Like it's so exciting. Sometimes
I know they throw. It's just I was at my dad's house last week, and they had what was it? 2011. They had like a Bills. No, it was Jets Patriots wild card playoff.
Yeah, they just like playoff games.
Yeah, it's just like, it's like yes,
it's exciting. And I even like old games. I watched the Broncos Packers like Super Bowl, like back when Elway did like the helicopter spin. I watched the whole game, and I was like, I know who's gonna win, but like, damn, like especially games you've never like watched front to back, like those old things. I put it on while I'm working. It's like therapeutic. I'm like, let's fucking go,
right.
It's so exciting. And right now with like no live football, it's like tough.
Yeah.
Let's see what we're looking at here.
So here we have a hot take. This is that the Chicago Bears will rush for 2,500 yards, which would really open up the passing game.
Yeah.
But
that doesn't feel like a hot take to me. Didn't Montgomery have over 1,000 this year?
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think Montgomery 1,000 is. Yeah, I think that's right on
Yeah,
par.
yeah.
Herbert, I think he could do the same
Ebner
thing.
and Jones. I mean, I mean Montgomery's. I
Jones.
feel like Montgomery's gonna have like that's like your give and take. Like Montgomery's probably gonna have closer to 1,300 than Ebner Jones would have 300 combined. Just because like they're at the bottom of the run. Even though I really like Ebner and Valus, I mean he's gonna be probably used for like some jet sweeps and stuff, or um, just because of his speed. But like you can't count him as rushing yards and
Yeah, I
Fields.
think you're looking at a couple in the season,
Yeah,
like
exactly. Yeah,
5.
like
Yeah.
yeah, like nothing crazy. We're not gonna use him as like a Debo guy. I don't think. I mean, unless they see him like that, but I don't.
Mm.
I think Ebner would be more of a from what I've seen in his like he seems like a really great pass catcher, and I've
Yeah, I'm
seen him
viewing him
line
as
up in the
pass down.
slot in college too. So like
Yeah.
I'm excited for him too. He's very quiet right now, but Valus is gonna be sick. And Fields, I mean, 600 yards feels like a lot, but like for NFL QBs these days, not really. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's doable. I'll probably get around 500. And Herbert, I mean, uh, Justin Herbert, he's probably, I mean, 600 seems about fair.
Khalil Justin's
Shit,
the
you're right.
fucking
Khalil Herbert, yeah,
the
Juice.
fucking beast.
Khalil Herbert. I was thinking of Juice, and I thought of JJ because his nickname is Juice Herbert. I don't know. I could see it.
Khalil had a great rookie season.
He had a really good rookie season,
Yeah.
and part of that I think helped with it helped him that Montgomery went down, but like
Mm.
the fact that he was ready for the moment, that's a big thing too. You know what's
Yeah.
funny? We do have two monster running backs. So I follow just like this random like NFC North page, like on Instagram, and they just like
Yeah, I remember this. Yes.
yeah, and so they did like rank like the NFC North backfields like 1 to
Yeah.
4, and Packers was 1, which I guess that's fair with your Aaron Jones and I think Dylan, what's his last name? AJ Dillon.
AJ Dillon, they
I
got
think
some
AJ Dillon
dog.
is. I personally think AJ Dillon is better than Aaron Jones. That's
Aaron
just a me
Jones.
thing.
Mm.
And then the Vikings, just because of what's his face,
Dalvin
Dalvin
Cook.
Cook, but he's unreliable. He gets hurt every year. But
Yep.
they were saying the Lions' backfield is better than the Bears, which is like we should at least be top 2, top 3. I mean, we're still pretty unproven and young, but like, damn, like every comment, every person that was commenting was like Bears at 4. It's like I don't see it. Maybe we're seeing it through rose-colored glasses or something, but
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe Don can shed some light on this. I don't even who's the Lions running back? I know they got
exactly.
that youngster.
It's the Packers' old running back, isn't it? That dude, the guy that likes anime.
Jamal, yeah, they have Jamal Williams, but
Yeah.
they have everyone loves anime, buddy.
Well,
Except you.
hey,
Um,
I've watched a couple of stuff in my day. Not really like
I
yeah.
can't. Oh, is it Ken? It's like Kenyon Johnson or it's something. I know I'm
Kayvon
right.
Johnson.
It's something right there with it.
I have no idea. Yeah, something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but to
Oh my god, yeah, dumb fuck. Okay, you know what? To be honest with you, I think it's a little closer because they have DeAndre Swift. They got Jamal Williams. I forgot.
oh
Swift
yeah,
is
DeAndre Swift was actually pretty good last
yeah,
year. I forgot.
he's multifaceted, but I mean he's young as hell as well. The thing with Montgomery is he's had a good career. I mean, I feel shitty like I'm talking in my mom's basement right now. His only year with more than 1,000 yards was 2 years ago, 1070. Which isn't bad though. It's not bad.
Well,
I
don't
think
forget
actually
he
it is a
missed
little ridiculous to put the Lions. Actually, I think
he missed hella games last year with injury too.
yeah, he missed like 4.
Yeah, which is like
Yeah,
which I mean, if he would have had 100-yard rushing games, those 4 games, like that probably would have put him at 1,000.
mm,
But
yeah,
I think in general Montgomery just gets disrespected, like just like the rest of the Bears do, because you know how it's been.
yeah.
It's frustrating, but to be honest, we haven't put a good product on the field, so why would we get respected? So, but I think our running backs are better than we get credit for. It's just we had, you know what, we would be like second and 10 or something, and we call like a run up the middle and we like lose a yard or something. So it's like, or like Nagy, like, and when it's like 3rd and 1, and Nagy thinks he could outsmart everybody by throwing a play action. Like, it's like just run. That's those like he was situational. So those are drives that are dead that could have kept going. So we're hoping with this new staff, they're better at like calling plays in the situational.
Yep, situational play calling.
That's literally all we're asking for. Just like don't think you're smarter than everyone else. Just like make the correct call. Let the player trust the players that they'll do it like what they got to do on the field, and like more often than not, you'd think it should work. Like we have talent, we have young talent, but it's like
that reminds me of Mike McCarthy still doing it on the freaking Cowboys. It's like anything more than 3rd and 10, like 3rd and 11, wide receiver screen, not worth it.
Wide McCarthy's a joke, dude.
3 and 10. All right, we'll screen him. We'll screen the whole freaking game.
He's so bad.
3 and long.
He should not have a ring. Like
you have Aaron Rodgers and Dak Prescott on your throw. It's a 3 and 11, and you're literally throwing a wide receiver screen.
As a Bears fan, though, when they would do that stupid stuff like in the Packers,
there you go.
All right, this is pretty awesome. Yeah. You'd love to see that.
Unfortunately, Eric, I got nothing as far as highlights go on defensive end Michael Badillo, but I can make a video on it, or Eric, one of us can make a video on it.
Michael Badillo.
Matt Nagy was the coach. That's why we sucked. You got a fair point there.
That's not the only reason.
Matt Nagy wasn't the best, but he wasn't the worst.
He was pretty bad.
But was he the worst?
So, like, here I'm giving you my quick analysis on why he was the worst. So, as soon as he was all right, Nagy when he first came into the Bears, this might not be a quick analysis.
I stopped sharing the screen. We'll talk about Fields.
Yeah, when Nagy first came to the Bears, like he had all this fun, excitement, like. He was like the Energizer Bunny. Like he had people like hyped up. He had the players like ready to go. After a win, we'd have the boom thing, all the excitement, club dub, all that shit was like working out. And we would run all these like cute fancy plays that would work because nobody had film on him, Nobody knew like exactly what he was going to dial up. And then all of a sudden after that 2018 season, it's kind of like then the league kind of got a whole year's worth of film on him, and it bugged me so much because he tried to like keep that like false sense of like a confidence and like excitement building, at the same time, like everybody could, especially last year, man, everybody could see the problems. Everybody could see the problems, like not only with the play calling, but like he was losing the locker room, like the excitement of the players. It was kind of like there was a video I saw. I know A-Rob wanted out at a certain point, but like there was a video where Allen Robinson, like he had like a downfield block while I think Mooney was running past him, and he sort of just like didn't block, and Mooney got tackled. It's like you're not gonna play for a coach you don't really like respect or care about. Like, so once the league got like 2 years worth of film on him, especially, it's like he was tapped out. He had nothing to do. Like he had no play calling. He didn't know what to do. And then he would go in these press conferences after every game. Oh, we had a great week of practice. We really just got to figure out our whys. You know what your fucking whys are, man? Is to win a Super Bowl. Like, dude, like that's your fucking why. You don't have to step back every single week and look at yourself in a mirror and say like, oh, we had a great week of practice. We really executed, and it didn't click this week. So we're gonna take a step back and look in the mirror, dude. You've been looking in the fucking mirror every day. You're not getting any prettier. Fucking switch something up. God damn, like. That's my story, man. I'm sticking to it. Like he oh my God. And then I started to feel bad for the guy when all of Chicago started saying fire Nagy. I was at a game. I was at the Giants game last year and they started that shit, man. I was like, oh my God. I looked over him at the sidelines and he had to just like on the inside, he's probably like, fuck, like yeah. And then the worst part is, man. The worst part is I think he got this huge ego of coming in and he's this offensive guru. He created Mahomes.
Yeah, he's a guru.
He's an offensive guru. He's a quarterback whisperer. And trading up to draft Trubisky, it clearly didn't help. I mean, that was
yeah,
it's just a whole fiasco. But like, that got in his head, and then all of a sudden, like when it wasn't working, he probably thought like him and him alone was the guy that would like turn it around, and he wanted to be like the hero because like I really think he thought in his head like he could turn it around, which that he would have been a hero if he did, but like it just kept getting worse and worse, and he would try all this like fancy shit like, and it wouldn't work, and everybody in the city was like, this guy is turning into a clown in front of our face. Like that was the most frustrating thing. So he clearly wasn't the best, and for you to say, he was pretty bad. He was one of the worst.
Yeah. I mean, I stand somewhere in the middle of you two, you and Ray here. Ray said, to be honest, I love it when they outfire him.
Most people do. I think like bad for the guy.
From a like personal standpoint, obviously, like, you know, it's sad.
Well, I agreed. I mean, I agreed. Like, but like,
yeah, that's what that's to me, that's what you signed up for.
Yeah.
If you're not producing, if you're not putting up the results that are expected of you, I agree. Anything goes. I mean, not everything goes, but most things go.
I agree. I really think it like crossed the line when they were at his kids' like high school game, and they like
that's
like classless. You know, it's like, yeah, we get it. Like your dad sucks at being a coach, but like if you bring that like outside of like the organization, it's kind of like, to me, it didn't shed the best light on Bears fans. But like being a Bears fan, you know, like you have to understand their reasoning, but like, you know, you just gotta. I'm personally, I don't know. I try to like. I want us to like try to hold it to a higher standard, you know. And I'm not trying to like bash on anybody for saying fire Nagy, because I felt the same way. I just wasn't at the game to chance it, to be honest. But like, you know, it's like when you're bringing it outside of the outside of his work and outside of his organization, it's like, all right, like take a step back, and as Nagy would say, look in the mirror and figure out your why and all that fucking. It's so funny. Me and my dad, like after every press conference, we just like clown him for the next like 30 minutes. Like we just, oh my God, it's so funny. We'd like, oh yeah, but enough of Nagy, man. He's gone. I'm not even, I will say this. He was not as bad as Mark Trestman. Don't get me started on turkey neck ass, like fucking grandpa, stupid. Oh my God. So bad. But we've had a rough recent history. As soon as Fangio went, it all fell apart.
Fangio is like, I view him as a G. I think he's a G.
Fangio's the guy. Like he's like a hard ass. Like you could tell he's like, that's what Chicago needs. Like if you think of like good like
Ditka.
Well, Ditka, but also Buddy Ryan, like the defensive coordinator. Like Ditka was a fucking hothead kind of guy, you know, and like Buddy Ryan was a little bit. I think I could be wrong, but he seemed to be more of like behind the scenes kind of guy, while Ditka was like the fire guy. And so that was like the old school of Nagy and Fangio. That was like, so Fangio was like the behind the scenes like hard ass guy, and Ditka was a hard ass too, but like Nagy was like the excitement guy, you know, like the face guy. But it was really Fangio who was like the mastermind who kept everything together, and he kept all the players on schedule, and that's why we had such a good defense, because these guys, like, I feel like they respected him, you know, and I feel like when a coach gets like the players' respect, which Nagy had at some point, they're just gonna play harder for you and play better, just because like they don't want to let you down. So
yeah, I mean, Eberflus got that. Seems like right now.
Yeah, every new coach that comes in, like you're gonna get that respect as a coach. Like it's to me, a coach, like a head coach, and I like this a lot actually. Mooney, I think, went on the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, that's all I was gonna mention.
Yeah. So he went on there and he was saying that Eberflus, what he was doing differently from the previous regime, it's like he's the overseer guy. Like he's the orchestrator, but he's like dabbling in offense and dabbling in defense and special teams, but like he's the guy that's like making sure that we have a schedule and making sure that guys are showing up, guys are like putting work in, but like he's leaving it up to our offensive coordinator, defensive he's leaving it up to the coordinators, and even further, like the wide receiver coaches, quarterback coaches. He's like letting these guys literally do their jobs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like if you let these guys do their jobs, because respect is built from like top to bottom of an organization. So if your head coach is letting your middle guys and your like lower tiered coaches, you know, like the wide receivers coaches, your whatever, anybody like do their job, like that's how you build chemistry within like an organization, and that's how you kind of like build trust like between players and all these coaches. So just to hear like Mooney talk about that, like the differences, I thought that was super cool just to like see what he's doing differently, because so far everything, and I think he's doing nothing but getting respect to this point, but everybody's got all the respect in the world until a down is played, you know, and then all of a sudden it's like, but
I like that he's overseeing it, he's keeping it organized, and if he trusts his coordinators, it just builds trust with everybody. Like he's cool, calm, composed, he's organized. He wants you doing, you know what, like I think Darnell said those exact words. Like, I know what I need to do. Like, players know what they need to be doing. And like if you can't have an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator that, not beef necessarily, I can't think of a good word, but like
it's like your offensive coordinator is like, man, like why don't you let me fucking call plays? Like that's what I'm here for.
I like the full trust in all the people you brought in, the system, the process, and eventually the results are going to show. And it seems like the camps and the practices, they've all been going smoothly, and no one seems to have any issues.
Exactly. And another thing that I really like what Eberflus is doing, I've said it before, but he is just super quiet, like to the media. Like he'll do his like press conferences for the Bears, and he'll do like whatever, like any interviews that comes along. But since we're so like, there's not like the rest of the league, it's like, what do they want? Like when they have to cover the Bears, it's like, shit, we got to cover the Bears. But like, I feel like in a certain sense, like on some level, to me, it kind of feels like Eberflus is using that as like an advantage, you know, because like when you're kind of like disrespected and you're see, like that's the thing. If you're like disrespected and you're not like being talked about, it kind of gives you that chance to like just like step away and like figure out what you need to do internally. Because if you're always answering questions to the media and like they have cameras on you all the time, it's kind of like a little bit, especially for a first year coach, it's pretty overwhelming. And for him to like not really have to like deal with that, especially like it gives him the opportunity to build from the ground up, like the way that he wants it. Because if he was stepping in an organization, like I think like that's why like if you're like coming in as a Cowboys coach, it's tough to like get your own thing, because like people expect your organization to like be the same, or like it's hard to say as a head coach, right? Like, you know, but like Eberflus right now, he's got a chance to go in there and like just start fresh, and then when he faces the media, he can be like, oh, this is exactly what we were doing, and this is exactly why we were doing it, and this is why it worked, and this is why it didn't work. So like to have him come in, I think that's a good thing. Just to, like, but it is fucking frustrating to turn on the NFL channel and they skim over every team, and they go over to every single team, and then it's like, oh, they talk about the Bears. Oh, yeah, they're a team. All right, next team. You know, it's like that kind of thing. It's like it's frustrating, but you know,
I've noticed that covering in we're in like month 2, I think, right now. Month 2, I think, somewhere around month 2. It's hard to. I mean, I kind of like that way. Like if I want to listen to Bears talk, if I want to do research on specific stuff, it's Bears people talking about it. Bears journalists, reporters, analysts, and you're not tuning into an episode of like Undisputed and they're talking about the Bears mini.
There's nothing to talk about. Like from an outsider standpoint, it's like, oh my God, like they're pretty much expecting us to be the same old Bears, and you know, it's like the organization and the team, it just has to, even to the fans, like they have to prove to us, because the fans right now, we're pretty unsettled. Like this is a huge year. Like if things go south, it's gonna get ugly. So if like they like the team, the organization. I feel like they kind of feel that pressure, you know. So I hope, at least I hope, because like
Nice sense of urgency.
yeah, and we have owners that fucking all they care about is money, and it's like all right, like I'm not gonna get started on that, but it's like if you had owners that really like did their research and cared, I don't know, something about those like so what's his name? George McCaskey, he did like a postseason press conference, and some of those answers, man, it really frustrated me. He like openly mocked the reporter. Like, I'm like, man, like you're trying to like you're trying to show a good face. I mean, I know, and he's like, yeah, I don't really know about football, and I don't really make any decisions. Like, you're making the biggest decision by hiring a GM, and I don't know. He's saying all this shit. I'm like, why is this clown running our organization? And I feel like a lot of people feel that way too. We're sick of him. Like, I'd rather have Virginia run it than him right now. She cares. Like, she cares. Like, she's the last like McCaskey that cares. And yeah, I don't know. That's how I feel about our owner situation. Care about the money more.
Yeah.
But yeah, from an outsider standpoint, like why would you talk about the Bears? You know, it's like they had such a down year last year. I mean, Fields is exciting. Fields is like he's a very exciting prospect around the league, but like nobody talks about him even anymore. And it's like Fields, to me, he's a quiet worker too. So like that,
Yeah,
I feel like that's his mox. It almost fits into his moxie like well. Like he's the kind of guy that goes out there and is like, you're not talking about me? Fuck you. I'll give you something to talk about, you know, like that kind of thing. But like he'll never say that. He'll never say that. He'll just like, I don't know. He strikes me as like that kind of guy. So
yeah, I like I mean there's within the Bears organization, there's nothing but praise about Justin Fields and how rigorous his work ethic is and how he's just like below the radar. Like he's first one in, last one out. Good leader. He's putting in work, putting work at home. He's watching the film. He's hitting the weight room.
Yeah.
That's
At the same time, I feel like every organization is saying that about their quarterback, you know. So
yeah.
But we do need like if it is all true, that is what we need. We need him to lead by example. Nagy was not a leader by example. He was a leader by pretending to be. I don't know. Like he was like I'm not getting back into that, but like Fields, it seems like he's like a hard worker, and I really like the Poles hire too. He seems to have a certain like he answers questions like intelligently, you know. Yeah, I agree with you, Eric. Good name, by the way. I think he's had a moxie about him since kind of day one, where it's like he gets that he's young and he gets that he's inexperienced, and he acknowledges that he's going to make mistakes. And you know, we're pretty restless right now. We don't want to make mistakes, and he doesn't want to make mistakes either. But like he's doing everything like very methodically, very like build through the draft. Like don't make any big splashes. The biggest splash was moving Khalil Mack, which if you really think about it for the future, like are we going to win a Super Bowl in the next like 2 years? Right now, the odds say no. Like anything could happen between now and then, but right now, the odds of that are super like if you were to bet on the Bears, you are more than likely you'd get a big payout. Let's say if they won, you'd get a big payout.
He's sitting pretty.
Yeah, so to move like Khalil Mack, I mean he's getting up there in age. You know his contract was weighing down. To move him and have like pretty much just like goofy money for the next 2 years, like that's like, you know, for a new GM, if you're gonna go and come in and make a move and kind of like shake things up, do things that the way you want to do, like that's a pretty good step one. I liked. I mean, at first, it's you hate to see him go. It's like, damn, there goes Khalil. It's like shit. He's fan favorite, you know, but like realistically, he has a bet. I'd be happy if he won a Super Bowl. You know, I mean, he'll always be a Bear to us, like you know. So if he goes out there and wins it, especially same with Akeem Hicks, you know, like they go out there and win a Super Bowl, it's like good shit. Thing is though, if we play them in the NFC Championship, we're gonna say fuck you, Akeem, you know, not really, you know what I mean. But if we're not even gonna be close to contending, like why not move these guys to potential contenders and then like get some like big money or get some trade out of it, value out of it. You know, it's like otherwise they're just gonna be free agents and they're just gonna leave anyway, and we're gonna be back to square zero. So that's how I feel about it. I feel and Poles really puts emphasis on the offensive line, which is obviously step one to winning football. You can't win games if you can't block. You can't run if you can't block. You know, so I don't know. I like it. I like them.
Yeah. Well, I gotta watch this hockey game.
Yeah,
So,
shit. Oh,
unfortunately, no, it's about second period. It's about to end.
Dang, what's the score?
2-1 Avalanche.
Woo! All right, I'm gonna turn into that too.
Yeah. So, but thanks for everyone for tuning in.
Yeah.
And yeah, we usually go live at about 8. I don't know when our next live will be. I'm sure it'll be the next 7 days, but usually live at 8. And
yeah, I'd rather not wait a month again. Shit just happens, you know, like it's pretty insane. Like it just happens, you know. So
yeah.
But this is something like it's good. I feel better about getting all that anger toward like Nagy and all that shit. I feel like relieved a little bit. So that was it's always good to talk about it, and anything Bears related is awesome. So, but yeah, it's fun stuff.
Yeah. It's fun stuff. Have a good rest of your Sunday night, Chicago Bears Nation, and we'll catch you on
Bears as always.